Welcome to the Michael Singer podcast, presented by Sounds True, in partnership with Shanti Publications. For more information about Michael Singer's work, access to all prior episodes, and information about upcoming releases, we invite you to join us at michaelsingerpodcast.com.
Jagradav, Jamasters. Every one of you, at some point in your lives, has felt beautiful energy flowing inside of you. We give it names like love, inspiration, passion, overwhelming joy, ecstasy. It's not very often, but all of you at some point in your lives have been blown away by how beautiful it can be inside. The question is, what price are you willing to pay to stay there? We don't even imagine staying there. It's just something that happens once in a while. We fall in love. We get the perfect job. We're just inspired to go do the perfect project and music, something, art. Something just turns you on enough. I call it melting. It's not something you do. It happens to you. You melt. You go bye-bye. I like that term. There's a natural state inside of you which is filled with joy, filled with love, filled with inspiration, filled with passion. The question is, if you can feel it once, why don't you feel it later? In fact, I don't want to ask what turned you on. I want to ask, why did it stop? I'm telling you, someday you will reach the point of understanding. You learn more for why it stopped. Love somebody, be near them, and just be blown away to be in their presence. Well, that's really beautiful. I want you to have that. Why did it stop? Why did it stop? Something made it stop. Do you understand that? You learn more. Listen to me. You all want to get high. You want to have different experiences. You learn more by paying attention to what made it stop than trying to make it happen again. In fact, trying to make it happen again makes you neurotic. You're grabbing, you're clinging. That will stop in and of itself. We're unable to just have a beautiful experience and let it be. Why? Because we're starving for beautiful experiences. They're not natural to us. They're very, very rare. If I asked you how many times did you literally melt, just melted away, you probably counted one hand. Some sunset just blew you away. You weren't there for a period of time. I told you, use phrases like, oh my God, it touched me to the depth of my being. I felt like I was in the presence of God. You were. Your ego fell apart. The whole personal self was transcended. And you experience the beautiful, beautiful energy of your inner being. Well, that's beautiful. I don't want to know. I don't really mean that. I love you, but I don't care. I don't want to know what made it happen. I want to know I went away. Because only by working that it went away do you stand a chance of keeping it. Otherwise, I'm telling you, desires and fears and anxieties and preferences will destroy you. If you totally fall in love with somebody, you don't want them to leave. And the J word starts. You feel jealousy. If they do something, then you get scared. What is jealousy? Fear that I'll lose what I think I want. Well, you lost it the minute you felt jealous. So let's take it from that level. Let's make believe that you've had these experiences, and I want to know what makes them go away. It's very easy to see. Like in intimate moments, you're hugging somebody and there's just all this love, right? And you can't even control yourself. And it comes out of your mouth like just oozing out with no effort. Is, I love you so much. I just melt into your arms. To which they either say nothing, and I'm telling you, it goes away. Or they say, yeah, I love you too. I told you I love you. The accent, the tone, the timing can turn you off in a billionth of a second. Maybe we need to understand that. Why is it like that? Because it is like that. Get a job that you're really excited about. You can't wait to get to work. Get there and have the job and be doing something and have your boss walk by and say, I didn't tell you to do that, which of course he or she did yesterday. I didn't tell you to do that. Don't be doing that. How you doing? You don't want to go to work the next day. The passion's gone. Doesn't take much, does it? Takes way more to get you open than to close you. In fact, it's not even close. Maybe we could talk about that. Does it have to be like that? No. Who makes it like that? You. So what is it? What's going on? What's going on is, let's start from the beginning. You have stored stuff inside of you throughout your entire life. If you're 2 years old, 1 year old, I don't care. Things have happened and they weren't comfortable inside and you push them away. That's the most important thing to learn, that it is instinctual, it is natural, but we're going to raise above it, okay, to defend and protect and not want to feel bad vibrations, isn't it? Okay? It's just natural. How do you protect yourself outside? As funny as it sounds, outside, it's easier to protect yourself outside because there's form there. You can push it away, you can run away. Inside, once it already got inside and you're feeling those vibrations inside, that's not so easy to get rid of. Even if you run away, it's still there. And it'll be there the next time you see the person. And maybe there for 10 years or 20 years. Why? Because you stored it. How did you store it? I don't want to store it. You have stored every single thing that ever bothered you throughout your life. Literally, the tiniest little things. It rained on your birthday and you don't want it to. You don't talk to God anymore. I used to believe in God. Why would he have that happen? It doesn't matter. Whatever it is, if it doesn't match what you want, you close. If it matches what you want, you tend to open. But you're still protective about that. You say things like, well, I felt tremendous love, but no, slow down, not so fast. You've gotten hurt before. So you're in there protecting yourself from the very energy that, if it was allowed to be free, would fill you with bliss. You don't realize that you're pushing it away because it bothered you once before. So you just store that stuff inside. I've asked you many times, how wise is it to take every experience you ever had that bothered you and store it? And don't you think you don't? The tiniest thing, the time I tell you to make sure you know, right? Go, and don't do it, go to a high school reunion. Go to your 20th high school reunion and you tell me what's going on inside of you. You see somebody you knew 20 years ago, said something you didn't like, or stole your boyfriend or girlfriend, or got a better grade than you did. I'm telling you, the minute you see them, there's defensiveness. There's something coming up. What's that telling you? After 20 years, they're not the same person. You're not the same person. You stored that stuff in there. And I'm telling you, it ain't going away. It's very easy to store it. It's not so easy to have it pass through, to stay. So that is what true spirituality is about. It's at that level of, do you understand what's going on? You're storing blockages inside yourself because you didn't want to experience them. They didn't feel good. But if you're storing what doesn't feel good, pretty soon you get a whole bunch of stuff in there that's scary. A whole bunch of stuff in there that can get hit. Everyone's sensitive about a topic? Is everybody sensitive about the same topic as you? Of course not. Why? Because you stored something in there from the past, an experience that you had that was not comfortable, and you didn't handle it very well. In fact, you didn't handle it at all. You said, I don't want to handle this. Push it away. Get out of my face. I don't want to feel this. So you either get away from the person or rationalize it away or do anything you want. What you're doing is saying, I do not want to experience this feeling or thought, and I'm going to make sure I don't. How? By having it not happen? I've told you, I've touched this before. There's no event that ever happened to you or anybody else that you can make not have happened. It happened. Did it bother you? Yes. How do you know? Because it bothered me. Is the solution to make it not have happened? No, I don't think so, because you will never make it not have happened. So now what you need to do is figure out how to live with it, how to deal with it. And you get into Freud, suppress it. What does that mean? I don't want to feel it. Push it away. You do it all the time. You have a tendency to push it out of your face, push it away. If you push it away, it stays inside. Don't ever doubt that. It does not dissipate. It does not go away by itself ever. Not by itself, it doesn't. You can put other stuff on top of it that tends to neutralize it, but just hit it from the wrong angle. That sucker's coming back up. Why? Because you stored it. And so you have suppression, repression, denial. That's my favorite. What do you mean? What's denial? It didn't happen. Well, you told me that I can't make it not have happened. Well, you can make believe it didn't happen. That's denial. I mean, it's pretty not healthy stuff to not be able to handle something and then store it in there. It's still in there that you deny that it happened. You don't even think you denied it happened. That's down there, and anything about it bothers the heck out of you. And it doesn't take suppression, repression, or denial. All it takes is resistance. It means I don't want this coming in here. I want to push it away. Not even I want to push it away. It's a natural, instinctual reaction. Somebody throws a ball at you. You protect yourself. This energy comes in inside. You protect yourself. How do you do it? That's your business, but you do it. You defend yourself. Somebody says something. You didn't really understand what they said. And all of a sudden you're saying, I never did that. The person says, did what? What you said I did. What was that? I don't know. Wish I didn't mention it. All right. You just defend yourself. Have you ever been defensive? Do you ever feel defensive? That is the act of pushing away the energy that is not comfortable to you. You're in there pushing it away. And if you do that, it will stay inside of you. So what has this got to do with love? It doesn't sound like love to me. It is. It is why you don't feel love. If you store that stuff inside of you, then more and more events that come in touch it. All right? And even if they don't touch it, you're worried that they will. It's what you dream about. It's what you fear. It's the anxieties you feel. Why am I so anxious? Because stuff happened in the past I didn't like. I don't want it to happen again. So I'm trying to make it not happen again. You just devoted, bad enough you stored it. You devoted your life to that which you stored. It determined, do you want to live in Texas? No, I don't want to live in Texas. Why? There's rattlesnakes in Texas. And I once saw a snake at the zoo. And it was scary. Well, now an entire state's off the map because you couldn't handle a moment. And I took an extreme situation. You just stored this stuff. I'm going to cry. You stored it and it runs your life. You think you have preferences. You did not decide your preferences. Not one single preference of what you like and you don't like did you consciously decide. It was an experience you had that was not nice, or an experience you had that was nice, and now you want it to happen again, or you don't want it to happen again. You're programmed by these experiences that you were unable to handle, unable to let pass through. And so now you have to govern your entire life. You have a relationship. You're dating somebody. It's really going very, very well. And you really would like to have a beautiful relationship. And then someday, not too far into a relationship, you have a discussion about children. Of course, you're in love, right? To which your almost partner says, no, I've never wanted to have children. I don't want to have children. To which that's it pretty much for you because you want to have children. That's not the question. The question is, why does your partner want to have children? And why do you want to have children? And don't you dare tell me because it's natural. Plenty of people don't have children. Okay? There's a reason you don't have children. You had a bad experience. Your parents got divorced. It was very hard for you. And I don't put anybody else through that. People literally say, I don't have children. I don't want them growing up in this world. Which world? The one that everybody else loves that you hate? The one that you loved yesterday, but now somebody did something that hurt the hell out of you, and now you don't want them to have to walk into a world that people would do things like that? It's all based on your past experiences, all your preferences, your hopes, your dreams, your concepts, your views. Don't you dare think you're doing these things. Have a dream. My entire life, I've dreamt of being like this or something like that, being an instrument player or an athlete or something like that, all right? And then watch some movie where somebody had a terrible experience. They dumped on, they were famous, and everybody threw them away, right? You don't want to do that anymore. One experience can turn off your hopes and dreams that you carried your entire life. And it doesn't have to be much, all right? You're dating this person, they're beautiful, everything's beautiful, you're talking about the relationship and so on, and somebody comes up to you after 2 years of dating, the other person was out of town, and your old friend comes up and says, you're dating Charles? Are you serious? Do you know that he spent 6 years in jail for serial killing? No, he didn't tell me that. I bet he didn't. Okay, how you doing? Instantly. I'm playing with you. Instantly. Charles off the table. You understand that? I don't see him again. All right. But you didn't catch on. It was April 1st. And the next day, your friend said, April Fools. Can it turn around that quick? Answer me. Charles back on the eligible list. Look, please wake up. I asked you, why does it come and why does it go? It's easy to see why it goes. You close. So now the question becomes, which do you want? Do you want to feel the joy, the ecstasy, the love, the inspiration, the beauty of being open? Or do you want to feel the tension, the tightness, the anxiety, the fear, the worry about the fact that something might happen that hurts you? That is your choice, because life's going to unfold. No one's controlling that. The question is, are you going to close? It's all about opening and closing. And this discussion is not about opening. It's about closing. I'm going to tell you a secret. I'll let out of the bag right away. But I like to learn how to open. You don't need to learn how to open. You learn how to not close. Why? Because the open state is the natural state. If you don't close, you will feel love forever for the rest of your life until you let something close you. Does everybody understand that? So the real work is not the reaching up to have a nice experience, to touch the light. Oh, very beautiful. By all means, do it. The real work is, why aren't you there naturally? Because I close. Do I need to go out there and make sure nothing closes me? That will close you. Make a list of everything you don't want to happen. I hope you never look at that list, because you're going to worry it's going to happen. You're going to try and make it not happen. A great being, here's the list of what I don't want to happen. It's blank. What does that mean? I don't close. I don't close. Look at me, because you can't handle it, can you? You don't close over what? Anything. Well, why would I not close over anything? Because you want to feel love. You want to feel joy. Somebody does something, it bothers you. Do you want to close? Is it worth closing over? You will reach a state, if you practice this path, nothing is worth closing over. There are no boundaries. There's no exception. That doesn't mean you don't deal with things. First, you don't close. Then you're filled with energy. You're filled with inspiration. You're filled with clarity. Now deal with it. Nobody's saying you don't deal with it. It may be somebody's abusive or causing all kinds of trouble. Maybe it's best to get away, but not out of fear, anxiety, closing. I can't stand you. You understand that? It never is out of closing. It's out of love. It's out of understanding. It's out of compassion. Doesn't mean everything works out, but you're not doing it to protect yourself. You're not doing anything. I'm way ahead of you. You're literally never doing anything to close. And now let's see you deal with the strong situations and not close. But you still deal with it. I always have to tell you that. You don't not deal with it. You just don't deal with it in order to protect yourself. You deal with it because there's a right action. There's a way to deal with it that raises the situation, not you. It's not about you. Why? Because you're okay. Well, why wouldn't it be about me? Because you're fine. If you don't close, you're going to be filled with Shakti, you'll be filled with love, be filled with inspiration all the time, all the time. Listen to me. All the time. Why? Because you didn't close it. The energy's there all the time. More energy you could ever imagine is flowing inside of you. Why did I feel it? Because you blocked it. And if you release the blockages, as you release those blockages, it becomes stronger and stronger until eventually it becomes so strong that you're not willing to give it away. Well, what about a terrible situation like someone you love dies? How can that be a beautiful situation? Because sorrow and loss are beautiful. They have a beauty in and of themselves. I've told you a bunch of times. The examples are like Romeo and Juliet. Ever heard of the play? Pretty famous, isn't it? Okay. There's a comedy for you, isn't it? No, it's a drama. It's a tragedy. You go watch it. You bring your friends. You heard? You cry for 2 days because it's so painful. Why do you go back? Because every single vibration in creation is worth experiencing if you're open to it. If you're not open to it, are you kidding me? Start looking like that situation might happen to you. Oh, I don't want to think about it, right? But if you're open, it all touches you to the depth of your being. Here, Can we look each other in the eyes and understand that? Every single vibration of creation that happens and comes into you is capable of touching you to the depth of your being. And the only reason it doesn't, because you stop it. And when you stop it, the pain, the disturbance, it's something terrible. It's something destructive. And then you keep that inside of you. And that's what we do, isn't it? And then we decide, what do we want to happen and what do we not want to happen? And that develops our entire personality, entire self-concept, entire ego. And we run around trying to make what we want to happen, happen, and we don't want to happen, not happen. And I'm telling you, it's a struggle, isn't it? Will everything in front of you always unfold the way you want it to? It's very funny, right? Why? Why wouldn't it? Because it's not supposed to. It's not supposed to unfold the way you want it to. It doesn't even know how you want it to be. The weather does not know whether you want it to rain or not today. It doesn't even know it's your birthday. Why would it rain on my birthday? It's not raining on your birthday. It's just raining. Everything is like that. Life is just unfolding. It's impersonal. No, it's not. No, there were no hurricanes that came through or tornadoes and wiped out neighborhoods. And then the next morning, the sun is beautiful. It's shining. It never apologizes. It just does its thing. Are you okay with that? You better be. Otherwise, you're going to close. Otherwise, you're going to run for the rest of your life. You don't understand. My house got torn down and I got left with the thing. And oh my God, it was so difficult. You spend the rest of your life complaining, as opposed to, look what happened now. Whoa. You're like, I guess we're going to either move or rebuild. But I don't want to. Too bad. It's called reality. Can you handle reality? Because if you can't handle reality, you're in trouble. If you can handle reality, you're not in trouble. You're just dancing with it. You're honoring it. You're respecting its right to exist. Nature exists. Not everybody's nice. Why? Because they had experience in the past that they blocked themselves. So now when you interact with them, the Beatles had a movie called The Blue Meanies, all right? So they're the Blue Meanies. They're not nice people, all right? Then there are other people that are just always saints and beautiful. Is that okay with you? Is that okay with you? Because if it's not okay with you, you're not okay. I predict that. If it's not okay with you, all right? And so you get to the point where you realize, I have a choice, be okay or not be okay. And if I'm not being okay in the name of being okay, that's just stupid. And so you start understanding the reason you don't feel it all the time. And notice I didn't say the joy that you think is a baby's born, but then someone dies. Both are beautiful experiences. Everything is a very special experience, or it wouldn't have happened. Now I take you down to where I like to live, right? And we've discussed it before. This is not here. What you see is not here. What's here is a bunch of atoms moving around, bonding themselves in accordance to the covalent bonds and laws of physics, right? But no, there are no atoms. You know that now. There are no atoms. There are electron, neutron, and protons clinging themselves together to act like atoms. Nope, I blew it again. There are no electron, neutron, and protons. What does that mean? There are wavelets in a quantum field that get agitated and they interact together, and the interaction of those wavelets create protons and neutrons. I have to be careful. Electron is a primary element, so I'm trying to be accurate, but it creates protons and neutrons. That's all you need to know about quantum physics. When they split a proton, not split the atom, way down below that, when they split a proton with these super colliders, it broke apart. It wasn't an elemental element, right? It broke into quarks, leptons, and bosons. That's just names that they gave to the little particle that came out. And they figured out that 2 up quarks and a down quark make a proton, and 2 down quarks and an up quark make a neutron. And those things called the subatomic particles last for, I don't know, about a fraction of a second before it puts itself back together. And you start watching the universe build itself. Those are the laws. It's happening everywhere. That's what all the stars are made of. Every single thing in the universe is made of that quantum field vibrating, putting it all together. And I try to teach, it's so wrong. Like, I like the Bible. I don't read it, but I like the Bible. It says, right? In the beginning, God created the heaven and earth. Nuh-uh. It's happening every millisecond. If that field is not vibrating and put itself together, you guys ain't here. Every moment, that field has to manifest what your body looks like and what this room looks like. It's happening real time. I told you, one of my favorite quotes from Einstein is, reality is an illusion, albeit a very persistent one. In other words, it puts itself together the same every day. So when you wake up in the morning, your bed's still there. It's not. It's these vibrations that are behaving in the same way. And so the world look, and you get caught. You get caught and think it's real. So you get down to the point where you understand everything is beautiful. Not beautiful that way, not human-wise. I can't even talk about it. Answer me now. That wavelets, assuming you understand, there's just wavelets touching each other, putting themselves together, and making electrons and protons and atoms and so on. Okay? Well, there's this thing called DNA. Ever heard of it? The DNA molecule? And I've heard a rumor that if a cell is, quote, fertilized, meaning that DNA strands have put together, but it's still microscopic, that cell, one cell, a microscopic cell, knows how to make a baby. Where do you think babies come from? They don't come from that cell, a single cell, divides and becomes of this and that and makes livers and kidneys and every nerve that you have in your brain. Right or wrong, mommy didn't do it. Don't you dare say you did it. You did not make that baby. You wouldn't even know how to make one single thing about that baby. All right? Go on. Make its pineal gland. Right? And does that happen before the pituitary? Okay? No. Wake up. The universe is making itself out of these quantum field vibrations. How could a vibration put itself together and create the intelligence of a DNA molecule? It's not even right for a scientist to sit there and say, DNA created a baby. There is no DNA. Those are just molecules tied together, right? In a whatever it is, a chain. And those molecules are made out of atoms, and they're made out of electrons and protons, and they're made of the vibrations. Wow, come on, let go for a minute. Nothing's wrong. Nothing's right. It's just wow. Isn't it? Everything is that. The trees, the this, the that, everything, all the entire outer world, the world of physics, the physical plane, is made out of those vibrations. It's one thing to talk about babies. I'm going to take a kernel of corn, one kernel, take it off the cob, take a kernel. And I wasn't paying attention. It fell on the ground. It makes itself into a corn stalk. Out of what? Dirt, water, sunshine. It literally has a chemist inside that kernel that knows how to break down the elements and turn them into different types of vitamins and proteins. And I can't talk about it. Go study it. It should blow you away. Is that true or not, that it does that? You don't do anything. Your body used to be, what, 2 feet? What's it now? How'd it get that way? It did it by itself. Your heart beats, what, 60, 80, 90 times, whatever it is. Okay? Are you doing that? If you don't do that, you ain't around. Breath goes in and out. You're not doing squat. You're just not paying attention. And so eventually you get to the point where you do pay attention and you realize, who am I to claim that I'm making the universe? Are you making the universe? Do you make Pluto and Mars and Saturn and the rings? And you say, no, of course I don't do that. Do you make the planet Earth? No, it's been here for 4.5 billion years. I haven't been here so long. Then what exactly are you doing? Pretty much nothing. Oh, no, excuse me, causing trouble. You are literally running around a world that's making itself with the most intelligence that could ever exist. I can think about it. Look at that. Saying, I don't want it to be that way. I want it to be this way instead. That's called waking up. Is it about getting what you want? It's about honoring and respecting everything. Everything. Because so far we've talked about the outer world. It gets more interesting when you talk about the inner world. And they are different. Your inside is made of thoughts and emotions and energy. Outside is made of the particles, like we talked about. Okay? They're going to do their thing. Don't you dare think that you're going to control the outside world. That makes me laugh my head off. You stand in one spot and decide how that spot's supposed to be based on what I want. Oh, yes, that's exactly how the universe should be put together, what you want. Right or wrong, we admit that that's not true, all right? It's put together because of everything that ever happened before, cause and effect. The whole creation story took place. And now you're standing here in this spot saying, no, I don't want it to be like that. Then you're arguing with all of science. The moment in front of you is the result of cause and effect passing through all of time and space, creating the collision of that moment. So a wise person realizes if you resist that reality, you are not going to be happy. Once in a while you will, because it happened the way you decided you want it to be. What I try to get across, and I don't know if anybody can get it, is what you want and what you prefer and what you hope for and what you dream of is inside. You made it up based on your past experiences, and it can change in a billionth of a second. It's just something you built inside your mind and your heart based upon your past experiences. The outside is not based on that. That's not where it came from. It came from the Big Bang and molecules putting themselves together and all of science. It came from science, all right? It came from what science discovered. It came from the quantum field, which has nothing to do with what you made up based on your past experiences. It's made up of its experiences. Inside is made up of your experiences. And what's the phrase? Never the twain shall meet. They do not naturally meet. They are meant to naturally meet. The wise one, like Christ, one of the wisest, the wisest that ever was, said what? Not my will, but thy will. Not what I made up inside myself, but the reality that's unfolding due to all the forces and causes of all the creation, right? How can I take the moment I had, those moments I had, and then make I tell you all the time, you've had very few experiences. You've had very few experiences in your entire life. You don't agree with that. You think you're a very knowledgeable person. You've had a lot of experiences. At the same moment you were having one experience, how many were you missing? How many other experiences were going on everywhere else that you weren't having? Come on, I'm waiting for the number. 700 billion, zillion, quillion, trillion on the planet Earth. I haven't included Pluto and Mars and all the galaxies. It's a happening place. There's something happening everywhere. And you've only had this tiny strand of an experience that passed through your life. I don't even know how to talk about it. I've learned how to talk about it. It is statistically insignificant, isn't it? 1 out of 700 billion zillion, and then the next one, 1 out of 7 billion, and you're just kind of passing through like that. That's what your preferences are, right? You have a different experience, you have different preferences. If you didn't have the experience you had when you were young, you wouldn't think the way you think. Therefore, realize it's not supposed to be you making up how the universe is supposed to be. You don't even care about the rest of the universe. You don't even think about it. It's really funny. You have one star that you pay attention to. It's hot. That's your relationship to the rest of the universe. 1 out of 300 billion stars in one galaxy, which there are 2 trillion of them, all with hundreds of billions of stars, and all you care about is, oh, it's hot. Well, but then what you did is you brought that frame of reference into a world that has nothing to do with you. It has to do with itself. What's happening in front of you is the sum of its experiences, meaning physics, chemistry, everything. And yet you get upset if it's not the way you want. So spirituality, growth, is not about trying to reach up and become somebody. You are a very great being. You who's in there that is aware. I love that you can hear me, because you don't think like this, but you do hear me, all right? And that you're conscious enough to realize that your mind, it doesn't know what it's talking about. It thinks it knows what it's talking about. Why? Because it's the sum of its learned experiences. It thinks that it knows what's going on. I experienced that. What are you talking about? I know how hot it can get. Well, fine. But there's places that are cold and there's times that it's not hot and you're not experiencing those. But the experience you had, you give 100% weight to. You think because I met Sally, she's not very nice. She's really not. All right. I don't want to see her ever again. She ate something bad the day before. She wasn't feeling well. And you met her after somebody called her up and dumped some bad news on her. How dare you sit there and say that you know Sally? One experience in one point in time and space. Do you know anything about Sally? Answer me. No. You don't know anything. You just know the one experience you had out of the hundreds and billions and zillions that were going on at the same time. Once I would like to see in your face that I'm getting through to you, right? Because it's the truth. But it doesn't matter. You go right back to what matters, what I experience, what I know, what I like, what I don't like, what I want, what I don't want, till eventually you wake up and you realize, no wonder I'm closed. No wonder I'm so sensitive. I am assuming that the moment unfolding in front of me is going to be the way I want it to be. And if it is, woo! And if it's not, and I guarantee you the vast majority of the time it's not. Okay? And now you have to deal with it. Can you deal with the fact that it's not the way you want it to be? In general, no. You say things like, I can't handle that. I can't handle what you did. I can't handle that. I can't handle what's going on. How could God let this take place? If God's a loving God, how can their children die? How can this happen? It's not hard to talk about, is it? Right? There's just wavelets in a quantum field expressing itself for 4.5 billion years. And you want to sit here and say, I know it's supposed to be going on. And if it's not, I don't believe in God. Okay? And eventually you wake up and you realize, of course I don't feel love all the time. How can I? I'm sitting here resisting reality. I'm sitting here saying, unless it is what I want inside, outside, I'm not going to be open. I'm going to protect myself from it. Even if it's not happening, I'm going to worry that it might happen. And then you go out and try to fight reality to make sure they don't happen. There's a higher life. That's why we're talking about this. There's a much higher life. Okay? What is that life? I have no right to judge reality. It is the result of all the forces that have happened from the beginning of time, including a person's personality. They didn't just make it up in a moment. Their daddy did this and mommy did that, and they had this experience, and the first boy dumped them. Do you understand that? They're the sum of their learning experiences. I'm the sum of my learning experiences. How dare I judge somebody else? Do I have the right to judge somebody else based on these tiny little experiences that I had and built an ego based on that and said, this is what I want? You don't just say, this is what I want. You say, I'm right. If you did something I don't like, that's wrong. You were wrong. I'll prove it to you. My father used to talk to me that way and it bothered me a lot. And now you talk to me that way and it bothers me a lot. You're wrong. You have no right to judge. And what's beautiful is if you read Christ's teachings and Buddha's teachings and Muhammad's teachings, the deep ones, they say that. Judge not that you should not be judged. But the Buddhist deep Zen writing say to end the burdensome process of judging. On what base are you judging? Me. Aren't you judging everything based on you? But I just showed you're nothing. If you had one different experience, you would have a different value system. Okay? You had different thought patterns, different emotion patterns. But yet you're sitting there saying that I am the center. You're worse than they were before Galileo. Galileo dared to say Earth is not the center of the universe. They put him in jail. They locked the guy up. They really did. They went in jail. It was kind of a nice jail, all right? But he spent time in there because he said that Earth is not the center of the universe, that we're orbiting around the sun. It's not orbiting around us. They didn't like that. We're it, man. Okay? Well, it's the same thing with your ego. You honestly believe you're right. You honestly believe your thought processes are right. You honestly believe your value judgments are right. Well, other people have totally different value judgments. Go to some tribe off somewhere and totally different experiences. Who's right? You or them? You'll always say you are. You honestly believe you're right, don't you? That's because your data is only the data you collected. Let's do some computer science. A computer is nothing without data. Even the AI stuff, the reason it's so smart is it's got a lot of data, puts it all together, okay? The data you have is nothing. It's nothing. But I read a book. How many didn't you read? It's hilarious. Like I told you, compared to the experience you're having, compare that to how many you're not having that are happening just as real. If you turn to the left, different one. Turn to the right, different one. Look up, different one. Do you understand that? If you happen to be looking a certain way when something happened, you didn't see a terrible accident that happened on the other side. It didn't affect your life. How close is that? It's like some random stupid thing that you happen to be looking someplace and not another. You wake up and you realize I'm deeper than that. I understand that I'm limited by my thought processes are limited by the experiences I had. And so is everybody else's. And that's when judgment stops. And these are truths. They're funny. These are Christ's teachings. Judge not that you shall be judged. Let you without sin throw the first stone. Forgive them, Lord, if they know not what they do. Of course they don't know what they're doing because they're lost in themselves. They're lost in their thought patterns. They're lost in their value systems and all that stuff. But what's the alternative? The alternative, and this is when you learn to be open all the time, is sit here and say, I can be higher than that. I can understand that the reason my heart closed is because Sally didn't say hello. I can look at that and say, do I want to be like that? Is that rational? I don't know why she didn't say hello. And I don't want to figure out why she didn't say hello. I don't want to waste my time being neurotic. Because the very act of worrying why she didn't say hello makes me not open, makes you close toward her and everybody else during that day. I don't want to do that. Okay, now, your growth is about learning to let go. That is how you elevate. The ascent is not about ascending even though the anchor is holding you down. It is about letting go of the anchor, and it ascends naturally. The deep spiritual teachings. There was one Buddhist teacher, very, very famous, founded a lot of organizations, who wrote a book, and what it said was, spirituality is never about getting anything. It's about losing everything. Meaning, it's about letting go of yourself, dying to be reborn, how Christ put it. Now you understand the teachings? That's what dying to be reborn means. Letting go of your personal self so that what's left, the energy that comes up. And again, I'm a nice Jewish yogi. I'm not a Bible reader, but the teachings are so obvious that as a yogi, they just fall right out. He said, man does not live by bread alone, but by every word that leaveth the mouth of God. Now, I don't know what you think that means, but I know what it means. Because there's energy flowing in here. It's feeding you. It doesn't matter what somebody else does. It doesn't matter this or that, the other thing, or what house you live in. There's this beautiful energy inside that's feeding you from inside. That means man does not live by the outside alone, by what happens out there. You get turned on because of the energy that's flowing inside of you freely. The spirit, Shakti, call it whatever you want. And you will get, if you practice letting go of yourself, you will experience this yourself. You will reach a state where somebody says something to you that used to bother you. You catch it for 1 second, you let go, and it doesn't bother you at all. It's okay to have a bad day. You don't need to explain it. You don't do anything about it. You just honor and respect that reality wins, and it does. You know that reality always wins. Somebody was asking, what do you define reality? That which already happened. There, very easy. I don't need a big treatise. If it already happened, you ain't changing it. So you either screw yourself up about it, get all upset about it, get tense about it, get anxious about it, or you learn to what I call let go. You learn to sit there and say, yes, there's a part of my being that is messed up. Why? Because I stored it in there. I stored everything that ever bothered me. If I store everything that ever bothered me inside, what's it going to be like inside? Unhappy, disturbed. If I store every single thing that ever disturbed me inside, it's going to be disturbed in there. And now I have to avoid it, find avoiding myself. If you let go of that stuff, it will ascend by itself. There's nothing else you have to do. It's the only thing that's holding you down is what you stored in there. So your entire process of life now has changed. It used to be, I can only be okay if I get what I want. I can only be okay if things I don't want to happen don't happen. And then I struggle to make all it be like that. And your life turns into, I can be okay with all of life if I let go of me that's judging it, that decide what it wants and doesn't want. Just little by little, you learn to let go of yourself. What does that mean? It means it comes in, it hits you. It's your past stuff, it's hitting. Somebody else could love that which you hate. Somebody else can get turned on by that which turns you off. Yesterday, you were turned on by what turns you off today. 5 minutes ago, right? It's that fickle. And so you wake up and you realize, I need to clean up in here. I can't be okay like this. And the cleanup is letting go. When your stuff gets hit, you'll feel it. Are you willing to remain centered, conscious, breathe, relax, and let go? Because that stuff doesn't have to stay in there. The only reason it's staying in there, I'm going to prove this to you, is you're holding it in there. It's not that you shoved it down there 5 years ago. You are still shoving it down there. How do you know? Let something hit it. You push it right back down. Can it come back up? Answer me. Can your stuff come back up? Does it all the time. What do? Oh, give me a minute. No, I can't believe what you said. Just let me, stop it. Breathe. What are you doing? You're basically saying, I don't want to feel this, just like I didn't want to feel it before. That's wonderful to breathe as opposed to hitting somebody. But the high state is, I can't believe that's still in there from when I was 5 years old, right? Or whatever happened, something in high school or college, anything, whatever it is. I don't need that in there. I would like to be here now. I'd like to be able to feel the reality of my life. I would like for life to come in and touch me to the depth of my being all the time. That's an enlightened master. A being who can exist, especially on this plane, that every single thing, reality, comes in and passes right through. All of a sudden, there's just everything's liberated. You're free. You don't have to fight with anything. You don't have to do anything. It just comes in and you feel Shakti energy pouring through you, and it takes you to the highest states. So you decide, is that what I want? Or do I want to fight to make it be the way I want? It's called conditional love versus unconditional love. We started with love. Unconditional love means it ain't stopping. It ain't stopping, no matter what you do or anybody else does. But I can still come down and work with people and bring love and do what I can to help, all right? But not help by me, based on me. There are things that obviously, if you see somebody that fell down and they're bleeding, help them up. Don't talk about, oh, they might sue me, or how do I know they're worth it? Maybe they hurt somebody before and I shouldn't be helping them. It's their karma. Oh, well, my God, what are you doing? It's very natural. You're clear, you feel love, therefore you feel compassion, you do what you can to help. Not help you, help the situation. That's where it gets. So you wake up and you realize there's great love in there. There's tremendous love in there. Inconceivable joy and love and bliss. You don't feel it because you're blocked. You're blocked because you stored things inside from your past that turned you off. And so you keep pushing them away. And now you have to struggle with life. Okay? Actually, we just talked about the fall from the garden. What's the fall from the garden? In the beginning, Adam and Eve, the story's being told, they're fine. They're beyond heaven. They're just merged with God, experiencing the creation that the quantum vibrations caused, right? God created heaven and earth, and now he's digging it. He's experiencing it, right? And that's Adam and Eve. Then what happened? Somehow they ate this apple thing. It wasn't an apple. It was the personal self. They started taking it personally. And what does it say when you fall from the garden? I love that quote from the Bible, right? Now you must work with the sweat of your brow to be okay. Go check it out. That's what it says, right? Isn't that true? Right? Now that you have stopped being open, now that you've stopped honoring, respecting all of reality, and you only like what you like, go work for it. Go be neurotic. Get uptight. So it's really very amazing how deep the growth path of letting go of yourself is. You just do what? You go through your life because it's unfolding in front of you. You honor and respect that something's going to come in that can hit your stuff. Why? Because you stored your stuff. Otherwise, it doesn't hit your stuff. Otherwise, it just expresses itself for what it is. It comes and goes. Do you want to keep fighting to make the world be the way you think you want it to be? And at some point, the answer is no. Then how do you do that? Don't fight. What do you mean? Relax. That's the opposite of resistance is relaxation. You cannot relax while you're resisting. And when you're resisting, you're not feeling relaxation. So you basically, it comes in. This is it. This is the essence of all the teachings. It comes in. Yes, it does. Does it happen? Yes. What happens? What happens. Does it come in? Yes. Can it hit your stuff? Pretty much all the time. It can hit stuff that I'm not comfortable with. Are you okay with that? Well, not really. Can you learn to be okay with that? I guess. I've learned a lot of things. Learned piano, learned tennis, learned math, calculus. Oh my God, they're pretty amazing. Can you learn to be okay with reality? And so it comes in and you feel the tendency to protect and resist. I'm telling you, you're capable of relaxing in the face of that. You won't want to do it. You want to protect yourself. But you're going to find out that the vast majority of everything you try to protect yourself against inside never happens, and it wouldn't hurt you anyways. Do you know how many things you were afraid of that never happened? How many things you thought could happen and worried about and got anxious about, and they never happened? How about almost all? Okay? You got to dare to look at it And you start saying, I can handle this. I can learn to relax. I can learn to be open. And the more you are, the more you'll find out that there's beautiful energy inside. And then I have to give a warning. You will reach the point in your path where all of a sudden or gradually, it starts not being nice. In fact, it starts being the worst you've ever felt. Why? Because the big stuff starts coming up. It doesn't want it in there. Your heart does not want to be blocked. Just like your body doesn't want bacteria and viruses. It pushes them out. Your heart knows how to cleanse itself. God, please, this is the essence of yoga. Your heart knows how to cleanse itself. And so it pushes that stuff up so it can be let go. But you push it back down and use your mind to protect yourself and defend it and justify and all that stuff. When you don't do that, you will feel it come up. At first, it's hard, but you start learning. This is worth it. It's worth not to have to carry that situation that happened to me years ago inside of me. I don't need it in there. And now you get down to the deep teachings of how do you cleanse. But notice it's still about letting go of the anchor, not reaching up even though I have an anchor. Nothing wrong with having inspiration of, dealing with things that lift you. But that's not the essence of the path. The essence of the path is why do you need to do anything? Because you're the highest being of off the face of the earth anyways. And so you learn to let go. And you get, I'll close it up quick. Well, what kind of techniques would one use to deal with what they don't want to deal with? You take a look at it. Do I want this inside of me? Am I willing to go through the pain, the release, whatever it is, to get this over with? That I can let it go once and for all. Can I pull it out? No, you can't pull it out because it's you pulling and you holding in. Do you understand that? It's you pushing it down and you pulling it up. Doesn't work at all. What you have to do is relax. You have to sit there and say, I can handle this. No, first it's I can't handle this. Then it's okay, I can handle this. Then it's I want to handle this. I want to get rid of this, right? Then it's I love the process of cleansing. That is where a great spiritual being lives. I am open to it. I look forward to it. Bring it on because I want to see what's on the other side. I am open to experiencing whatever happens, right? And then there's another stage that I've seen, which is just amazing, where you're looking at that part of your being that you stored down there and you apologize to it. You sit there and say, oh my God, the kid was misbehaving down there and I shut him in a closet. Of course he screwed up. Let me help you out. You're not pushing your lower self away. You're literally clean enough and willing to go through what it needs to go through to reach down and welcome it to come up and apologize that you put through that and invite it to come up and you'll help it up to where it merges and you become an integrated being. There's no more parts of you. There's no subconscious and conscious. There's just your being all integrated because you didn't split it with all those things. That's very spiritual. That's a very great state. You grow yourself into that. Or you decide, no, I want to fight and struggle to make things be the way I want and then complain why they're not that way. All right? I hope I've dented something in there to let you know there's a very high state in there. It's your natural state, but you ain't getting there without letting go of the stuff. It's not enough to say, oh, I believe in God. That's wonderful. Are you willing to go through the pain, the cleansing that releases you so that you can go to God, so that you can feel that oneness and spirit? All right. So we started by singing about love, and we talked about love, but it didn't seem like we were talking about love. It seemed like we were talking about pain and suffering and anxiety. That you need to go through this to release what you did to yourself inside. And don't you dare think you can't. It's just you tell yourself you can't. But, I don't know, if you had some terrible physical ailment and it was really bothering you and there was a way to go through a therapy that was difficult, but you know that it would cure the whole thing, you never have to feel it again, would you go through it? Of course you would. This is the same thing. Are you willing to go through the process of cleansing the garbage you stored in there so that you can be free, be liberated, be open, and everybody gets helped, everybody around you? All right. I hope we communicated, right? It's like, okay, I'll stop. It's hard, right? I told you once, I don't do retreats, right? I do my little talks on Monday and Thursday and Sunday morning. Why don't you do retreats? Because I wouldn't let you go home. Because I know what's going to happen when you go home. And bam, it's going right back, and you'll forget everything we talked about. Right? What kind of this? We'll live here. That's what we do here, morning, evening for 50 odd years. Just let's remember. Let's try to set patterns that help me go through my day as a growth experience, not a painful or fearful or worrisome experience. In the morning, you wake up, I am ready, willing, and able to go through anything that life has in store. And then in the evening, you look at what didn't make it through and you try to offer it up, let it through, and we'll do better tomorrow. You do that, you wait and see what happens to you throughout your life, through every minute of your life. Just constant growth. I told you, you live like that, and when you wake up in the morning the next day, you're not the same person who woke up the day before. That's how fast you can grow, because you're willing to. You want to let go instead of trying to keep it and hold it. All right. I said I would stop, and I didn't. Oh, Jaggerative.
You've been listening to the Michael Singer Podcast, produced by Sounds True in partnership with Shanti Publications. For more information on Michael's body of work and all back episodes, please join us at michaelsingerpodcast.com. Thanks so much for listening. Sounds True, waking up the world.